Hello, this is Dan Morgan from Beyond 20, and today we're going to talk about versions of blueprints and versions of databases when it comes to trying to publish an older version of a blueprint to a newer version of a database. Now, there may be a case when, for some reason or another, you've got an old blueprint and your target database has since been upgraded to a more recent version. Maybe there was some miscommunication within the company. Maybe somebody went ahead and upgraded your test database without letting you know, and you had one or two blueprints that were hanging out there from an older version that you didn't have a chance to publish. Now, normally I would contact Cherwell or your qualified business partner to see if there were any major changes to the structure of the database in later versions that would impact you publishing an older version of the blueprint. In my example today, I'm going to take a version 5.11a blueprint, and I'm going to publish it onto a version 7 database. Again, if there's any question about that, contact Cherwell, but at least in my example, we've done this a few times and we've talked to Cherwell about it, and there is no impact in going from a 5.11a blueprint to a v7 or even a v6 database. So what I'm going to do is I've opened up my Cherwell admin tool. I'm going to go to Blueprints. I'm going to open an existing blueprint. And then I've got a sample one here sitting on my database. Now, unfortunately, there's no way for you to tell really what version of that blueprint it is unless you have good naming conventions, which is a good standard practice anyways. But if you go to try to open that blueprint, say with Notepad or some other editor, there's no indication within that blueprint what the version is. It doesn't say anywhere in here this is a 5.11a blueprint or a v6 blueprint or a v7 blueprint. So it is very important for you to communicate, especially if you have multiple administrators in your company, as to what those versions are, where they sit, what systems they've been published against, and what's contained in those blueprints. So again, this is a 5.11a blueprint. I just opened it against a v7 database, and I'm going to go ahead and scan that blueprint first, which I usually always do anyways, just to see if Cherwell finds any abnormalities in that blueprint. And then once it's scanned successfully, I'm going to go ahead and publish it against this database. So the scan was successful. No errors were found. So now I'm going to go ahead and publish my blueprint. Again, no errors were found. It does that scan again when you do the publish. And now this time it's actually going to write those changes into the database. And I'll get no errors. And that database will have been successfully changed via the 5.11a blueprint. I'm just going to pause this in the interest of time and come back when the publish is complete. So our 5.11a blueprint has successfully published against our v7 database. So again, in a pinch, you probably could go ahead and take an older copy of a blueprint from an older database and publish it against an upgraded database, but check with Cherwell or your qualified Cherwell business partner to make sure that there were no big structural changes in the database. If you'd like to subscribe to our YouTube channel, we can be found at youtube.com/beyond20llc.